In the beginning, if you do not succeed, don't feel your efforts were all in vain. A little more determination is all you may need. Success only comes after heavy strain. Sometimes we have to do it over and over again before we begin to see the light. Difficulties are ever present, just like the sun and the rain. One day we're going to learn to do it. Till then we gotta try again. Try not to complain. Learn to bear the strain. Trials and tribulation is there for everyone. The problems that we face each day, we should never let it stay. Don't let complacency block your way. I said try, never give in. No pain, no pain. Life could be complicated, and you could get damn frustrated, but then hold steadfast. A little time will pass. Try again, you will succeed. Do not exclusively, but especially the young. They want easy answers for everything. The preachers and the teachers have oh, what a job they have explaining. Showing the young people how they must persevere more and more, convincing them life is hard but it's sweet. Self-discipline and application is the key to be drawn before they could relax on easy street. Till then you gotta try again. Try not to complain. Learn to bear the strain. Life is what you make of it. Stop telling me you can't do it. Destiny is in your hand, totally at your command. The only thing now is you to understand. You must try again. Never give in. No pain, no pain. Stand up erect, don't falter. Like the rock of Gibraltar, yes, be courageous. If necessary, be audacious. In the end, you will succeed. At last. Children today, some of them just go, some of them blind. How they go into school merely for fun. Some of them may even have a book in their bag. Security guard catching them with guns. Serious violence has increased, and there's no respect from father, no love from son. Your children showing a weird sense of pride in the evil they done, praising who had the most abortion. You gotta try again. Try not to complain. Learn to bear the strain. To yourself you must be honest. Then you could find happiness, like the Negro college text. And I hope I quote it straight. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. You must try. Never give in. No pain, no gain. Go into school with weapons could only bring self-destruction without no reward. You might be a great warlord, still the pen is mightier than the sword. Bada, 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 bada. Bada bada ya da da da, do do de de abado, bada. Ojo bondoi de bada de da. Ay ay ay, mami oh. Get up and be responsible to yourself. Stop acting like the world or you are living. Your quality of life depends upon you, no one else. Integrity comes from deep within. The disadvantages you may have had as a youth growing up makes you feel that you must play tit for tat. But whether it was child abuse, mental cruelty, or what, it must stop. You can't spite others because of that. You gotta try again. Try not to complain. Learn to face the strain. None of us have to suffer. We could control the future or whatever the mind perceives. Surely it can be achieved. Stop doubting yourself and say, I believe I go try again. Never give in. No pain, no gain. When you come to me now, you come making no road. Hold steadfast, a little time will come. Try again, you will succeed. I love. Da 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 da. Do 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 da da da. Bye da 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 da. Bye da 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 da. Bye da 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 do do do. Bye da da. Ba ba da ba da. Certain Calypsonian couldn't make it to the show. How they didn't qualify, we don't know. But anywhere you pass, you hear people calling, no. How to treat little good Alan so. After he captured the hearts of all the people, young and strong, the selectors, they still leave him out. But he is young, and I hope that he wouldn't take it to heart. Next year he could make another start. Till then he gotta try again. Try not to complain. Learn to bear the strength. I know it is heart rendering. Don't think about surrendering, no. For you gotta hold on tight. Everything will be alright. What happened in the dark will come to light if you try. Never give in. No pain, no gain. Show them you could take it in stride, and you have youth on your side. Hold steadfast. A little time will pass. Try again, you will succeed. At last.
Slinger Francisco, the master himself, the mighty sparrow. Try again, we must try again. We have to keep trying. We have to keep trying, because at the end of the day, we have to keep our eyes on the prize. And the prize is empowerment for our people, our citizens, our Guyanese. That's the prize. Keep our eyes on the prize. Good evening to you, the mighty sparrow. Try again. We have to keep trying. We have to keep trying, because we're on a mission. We're on a mission. Good evening to you all, and welcome to Politics 101 on a Thursday night. On a Thursday night, wherever you're joining us from, whether you're joining us from Guyana, inside of Guyana, where I am, or you're joining us from outside of Guyana, in the Caribbean, where our people are facing the wrath of Hurricane Beryl. Really, the people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the hardest hit. Our prayers always with our brothers and sisters. We are one Caribbean people. We are one Caribbean people. The mighty sparrow. We must try again. Try again. Keep trying. Keep trying. Our guest tonight is going to be Attorney at Law Darren Wade, and we are going to be exploring the issues of the day. Wherever you are, please share the live or share the link. I prefer share the link. Share the link and let everyone know that we are on. We are on. We are doing what we have to do, and that is we continue to mobilize our people and to prepare our people. Mobilize our people and prepare our people. We have moved mountains before, and we can do that again. We have always been doing that. Always been doing that. And we wrap our arms around you. We wrap our arms around you, especially those of you who are facing the wrath of the PPP government. Those of you feeling the squeeze. And we don't miss word here, you know. People of all ethnic groups in Guyana are feeling the squeeze. The working class, working people, the working poor are feeling the squeeze. But the darkest among us, the African Guyanese, they are feeling the most squeeze. They're feeling the most squeeze, and we don't play around here with that. You all know that. I don't play with that. I don't, well, black people suffering, but other race suffering. No, I don't do it so. Black people are suffering a particular kind of suffering in this country, and it is because of the deliberate policies on the part of this government. This government has made it very clear that they are at the service, first and foremost, of two instincts in the Indian Guyanese community. The first instinct is the instinct of those who want to monopolize and make plenty money without the government stepping in. Or they want to make money with the collusion of the government. Nothing is wrong with making money. Making money is part of what human beings are about. I mean, we have to feed ourselves. We have to shelter ourselves. We have to clothe ourselves, and we need money to do that. But there is an instinct in the elite Indian Guyanese community that want to make money more than anybody else. Money is their God. The sections of the Indian Guyanese bourgeoisie, and they always wanted the PPP to go there and to facilitate them, cheating the rest of us. And then there's the other instinct among the Indian Guyanese elite community. Sections of that community believe that Indian Guyanese must dominate. The Indian Guyanese political party must dominate our politics, dominate our economics, and they have gotten their wish in this PPP. They have gotten their wish in this PPP. And this PPP is enacting policies to ensure that. To ensure that the Indian bourgeoisie dominates. The Indian political party dominates. And they have aligned the government and the state with that section of the Indian Guyanese elite that wants to make money, even if it means criminalizing the state. And in the process of doing that, you got to get those who are most opposed to that. And those who are most opposed to that are African Guyanese of all classes. In the Indian Guyanese working class is feeling the squeeze. But as happens, whenever these operations are taking place, they get more of the trickle-down than the working class of other ethnic groups. So the Indian Guyanese poor is going to get more of the trickle-down than Amerindians and Africans. And those who are willing to speak out and to stand up, they're going to threaten them, they're going to torment them, and so a lot of them will prefer to be silent. And so any noise will have to be made by African Guyanese. And so African Guyanese are going to be the ones who will be trampled. And the plan is to give some African Guyanese some little drops. And then you see, what we see begin at your thing. And they're giving bigger drops to other groups. When they lick down people house at Moko, it's to say to the people at Golden Grove, when we come there, and are you resist, we're going to lick down our house just like this. They are specially directing the wrath at African Guyanese. And I am not playing with that. I come from the seed of coffee and Accra. Ata, the seed of the African. And I would be committing the greatest sin if I see that happening and don't say it's happening. And when I see the African is being kicked in the mud, to turn my back and say, no, everybody getting kicked in the mud. Oh no. I know where I stand, and I stand in your ranks. I stand in your ranks today so that tomorrow I can move on and do some other kind of advocacy. But today, my advocacy is to stop Black people from being kicked in the mud. I don't care who vex. I don't care who call me racist. I don't give a damn. Whether you all want to make me your leader or not, I have a responsibility to lead the charge against people beating you up. They'll have to deal with me. They have to deal with me. Because I don't eat nice when it comes to taking advantage from Black people. They want to bring a makeke. I call him Dr. Ali. Makeke. For bring him and say, I must embrace him. Oh, he's doing good things for Black people. They are past Black people. You all decide who your leader is. I bring no makeke for be your leader. They are past you all. They're not taking Norton for Kerry for be leader for Indians, but they want to bring a makeke for be leader for Black people. There is past Black people. There is past Black people. And I pass must be met with ras pass. You all hear me good? And I am socializing us to deal with I pass with ras pass. For those of you who are Christians and don't use bad word, all you forgive me tonight. Forgive me tonight. I am not playing. Some of you all may want to play, and you know, there will always be those who will go astray. But the vast majority of us end going astray. Good evening to you all and welcome to Politics 101, where we do it. I come from the philosophy of Marcus Messiah Garvey, who said, love yourself first. It's called self-love. If you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. Black people, Black man, Black woman, Black child, love yourself. Because if you love yourself first, then your love for others would be of a higher quality. We are human beings too. We are not slaves. We were enslaved against our will. And we fought slavery and we bust it ass. And if we bust slavery ass, we can bust this ass that we have here. And we can do it. We can do it. We fight with what we have, and we fight on the turf we have. Don't let nobody tell you all, but no cross over and come over. We are fighting to make the electoral machinery democratic and fair. And when we make it democratic and fair, then every black man, woman, and child, once you are of age to vote, get your ass out and go and vote. And if you all go out and vote for yourself, you all don't need no crossover. Nothing don't come easy. Black people never get anything easy. Everything we've had to fight for. And we got to fight for this. We have to fight to democratize the electoral machinery because that is what we get. We can't go in the hills and fight guerrilla revolution. The time for that, not now. That time passed. That was the time we used to do that. We fight with what we have. And what we have is our black identity. And we're going to fight with that. And those who, from other ethnic groups, who want to join our fight, we welcome you and we will treat you with the greatest of respect because you're on the team too. Don't worry with this story that's going wrong, but consensus candidate and all the story. We put together the team first. And you got to make the team before you can be captain of the team. Are you hear me? You got to make the team before you can be captain of the team. Some people want to pick the captain first. We have to have a consensus candidate first. No, we got to get the team first. And then the captain will come. When you watch a team that includes Aubrey Norton and Nigel Hughes, and I got to beat my own drum, David Hines, and Amanza, and Risedale, and Sarah Duncan, and Vincent Alexander, and others. That's an unbeatable team. We're going to settle for the captain later. You got to make the team before you become captain. Some people want to pick captain before you pick the team. We are assembling the strongest team with the strongest platform. And we want every black man, woman, and child, once you're of age, register. And then once the voting machinery fair, and you come out and vote like a champion and vote black. Vote black. Because that's where we got to start. Don't want crossover. And you know what? We got to put up some padlock ass and staple. Don't let people come in with community and thief we votes. Because we can't go in the community and thief the votes. The PPP barricade the Indian community. And we got barricade the black community. What I mean by that is that we got to work on the black minds and say, charity begins at home. Because you're black like me and you're poor like me. And you have a right to get out of the plantation. I think we have said enough and we are ready. We are ready for this fight. Wherever I go, east, west, north, and south, we fighting. We fighting. And if you're fighting, you gotta get soldiers. And if you got soldiers, you gotta ready the soldiers. And that's what we're doing here. We are readying you for the fight. And the fight is already on. And we cannot turn our guns on ourselves. And I'm speaking about guns here metaphorically, of course, because we're in the public domain. And recently we've been turning our guns on ourselves. We've been shedding each other blood. Bad business. Bad business. You don't turn your guns on yourself, you turn your guns on your enemies. All right. I think young Darren Wade is ready for us, and we're going to be going. We'll be talking about Darren. Council, good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Hinds. How are you? A pleasant good evening to you and your viewers. It's a while.
It's been quite a while.
I want to apologize to you and to your viewers. You guys have been calling and asking for me and about me. And, I absent myself from your presence. I've been very busy. Nonetheless, I'm happy to be here this evening.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you are ready to go. And we have some things that we want to talk about. Darren, you have been on the front lines because you've been one of our citizen people's lawyers, using your skill, using your knowledge of the law as a weapon to defend the interests of your people and to advance their interests. And so therefore, you are not a no come, just come, and so forth. Now, I have been saying on this program that our enemy, our adversary, our nemesis is the PPP. And we got to keep our eyes on that prize. Am I wrong?
You're absolutely correct, Brother Hinds, Comrade Hinds. The struggle for all Guyanese, the PPP has put us in a sad state. They must be the enemy of the people. Because we come from a period, whilst in government from 2015 to 2020, where there were peace, the standard of living, the calmness, the air that we breathe and we feel, whatever we felt, was great. And now you have this constant thing hanging over your head, this tenseness, this feeling of uncertainty since this government came back into power. Is everybody struggling? And you rightfully mentioned earlier that everyone is struggling, but the black man is struggling more.
Yes.
But I was agreeing with what you said earlier.
Yes.
Concerning the black man's struggle in this country compared to others. Everybody's struggling under the PPP, but particularly the African communities, they are oppressed and continue to be oppressed by this government. And they give you $2, they call someone a contract. And when you look for it, they're giving the other groups the $1 billion contracts, the corrupt arrangements, the soul sourcing. I know I see that the vice president is threatening to is to investigate and to penalize, quote unquote, officers who are involved in the tendering process if they are found wanting. But what about the allegations against him? I'm sure that those officers are looking at him. Only today, a senior PPP official wife who I have seen on the news, and it's not been verified as yet, has resigned from the Ministry of Social Services based on some allegation I understand here. So yes, what PPP has done to this country within 4 years, despite having so much, despite having resources in an abundance, is make us suffer. The United Nations food program, and as I said, that Guyanese is actually getting poorer despite of the oil resources. And I don't like to hear these things. Children are starving, and of course the Amerindian community that was not left, but they are even suffering more to us when in the hinterland. If it wasn't last week, and you could correct me, I'm right, they said 20 to 40% of Guyanese children don't know where a meal is coming from.
That's right.
And you could remember the program that was started under the coalition, under the Granger administration. It was Comrade Rupner Ryan, or Brother Rupner Ryan, then Nicolette Henry. The breakfast program, the boat, the buses, the bicycle, the boots. So I really like someone from Sophia, teacher of Sophia, was expressing to me, Sophia Primary, all of the classes had meals on the Granger government. They had a bus taking them to school. And it has changed under this government. And you know what? We are so myopic in our approach. Sometimes we need to stop and think, and we are excited for nothing. Excited for what? Yes, you have $50,000 school grant. But when the analysis is being done, Brother Hines, you're getting less. Number one, the cost of living. And when you do the analysis and you see how much for the price for the breakfast you were getting, all of the schools, the program are now starting, all of the classes, the program now started, we're getting, you say that you mark up the price for the breakfast per day. If you say breakfast is $1,000, you credit $1,000, you go to school 20 days, that is $20,000 already. You look at the bus fare to go to school. Buses were provided to take children to school. And I'm just talking a month. And what you realize, you are getting more under David Granger administration, under the partnership. You are getting more. So the $50,000 now when the cost of living going sky high is nothing in comparison to what you are getting under Granger. And yes, you have to do that analysis for them.
And I am very glad you raised that, because I have to defend poor people. I mean, if you didn't have $50,000 and somebody come and put $50,000 in your hand, it's $50,000 that you didn't have. And people are practical, people are courteous, they get manners, thank you very much, and so on. That work of saying to them, that $50,000 that you get in your hand there, or $45,000 that you get in your hand there, really is zero, is minus $50,000 in real terms. That work is you work and me work. And so therefore, you are right. We have to do the analysis. We have to come on shows like this. There are, let me see, 1,654 people live here every night. You go on Sherry Duncan, is probably 2 times that. You go on Mark Benshop, is a 1.5 times that. I'm saying that is our work, and we have got to do that work of educating our people. Our people are out there every day. They're trying to make ends meet. They're trying to make a living. They're trying to send their children to school. They're trying to do day-to-day things. That is why they send you to law school, send me to graduate school, so yes, that we can go there, get the knowledge and big education to come back and back for them.
And it reminds me of slavery. It reminds me of slavery. And I know when we freed ourselves, God, like they freed us. Oh, thank Master, thank the Queen of England. When we freed ourselves, oh, praise Lord Priya. Praise Lord Priya, the great one. Pray, Mother Priya. Praise her. Lift her up. That's what I'm seeing on Facebook. I have no idea if you have seen those videos.
Yes, but those, brother Darren, that's
sure,
a drop in the ocean. I mean, our people are saying more positive things. More of our people are saying more positive things. And at the point I am making is that I'm glad you are here to give them some more positive encouragement so that it can be more positive. We are in this fight, not to fight our people, even though they may be misguided at times.
No. I am saying how that they paid them to do.
Yes.
They were made and coerced by the government. Not saying particular the minister, not making any allegation against the minister, but the government, the people on the ground, messages and so go to go on Facebook and say, praise the Lord. That is what they are doing. When they give the little pitons, they send out messages to the police station, to the nurses. It's a consistent and persistent course of dealings.
That's right. And the government is taking especially black people,
yes,
to do that, to use them as photo ops. And that's
of course,
disrespect for black people. And that's why you and I have to be as black as we can. We cannot mince matters. We have to say to our people, they're making you all fools by taking you all and doing that to you all. And the more we drum that in our people's head, I am sure that less and less they will allow themselves to be used in that way. I think a lot of times we don't talk to our people and say, look, we are like you. You're African. And you're being beaten up because you're African. And I am an African. And a large part of my advocacy is for you. I think we have thrown black people on the
well, bus. Let me say this.
Yes.
Not only, and you have mentioned it consistently in this country, in your program, not only Africans are being beat up, there are Indians, Amerindians, Chinese, various groups who are being treated badly.
Yes, but they got the leaders who can work for them.
Once you associate yourself with the government, they treat you bad.
Yes.
Recently, I took monies from my pocket, monies from my children, my wife, and my family, and I went to Switzerland to advocate on behalf of African Guyanese. I give up myself. I give up, sacrifice that. And it's not cheap to go there. The hotel is not cheap. Last year, I was in New York, same thing. New York was a little cheaper because their family at Brooklyn, jump on a train and you go on to Manhattan. But in Switzerland, you fly from here to New York. Then you fly from New York to Denmark. Then from Denmark to Switzerland, you go back France, the wall of Jericho. To go there because of the interest and your love for your people. And you want to see betterment for them. You want to see their lives improved. And you know who was there with me? An outstanding Guyanese. Mr. Clarence Nigel Hughes was there. And Mr. Hughes was in Switzerland before me a year, 2 years back, because the other trip was New York, and then he was in New York as well. And he was in Switzerland again recently, advocating. And not only in New York, we advocate for person rights. Whether or not it's in the Amerindian Committee for Amerindian Land Rights, Mr. Hughes is there advocating. They're in the struggle. Whether or not is someone being murdered by the state of Guyana, Mr. Hughes is there. When the PNC politicians are arrested, Mr. Hughes is there. Of course, I was there. Of course, I was there at the front. But over the year, Mr. Hughes has shown and has given his service and of himself and of his family for our people, the benefit of all, benefit of the party, benefit of the PNC. And that is why I love what you said earlier, that we must look for a team and we must not beat up ourselves. We must not be like crabs in a barrel and pulling apart. Because I say this to you, Brother Hines, and to our viewers. Are we going to be like Peter in the Bible? After being there with Christ, walking with him, see the miracles, and then you deny him? Let us, as you said, pick a team and let us look amongst ourselves and see who we believe is the best captain to sail the ship, to lead the team. It doesn't mean that any one of us is less. It just means that this is the man for the job.
and we're going to get to that, you know.
And I must be transparent with the audience.
Yes.
Because some of your audience follow me, and I have already expressed my views as what I believe, and which I'm in my entitlement to be the best man for the captain. I have said Nigel Hughes. I have said it clearly.
Yeah.
But my views is not the views of the collective that you are speaking about. My views that Mr. Hughes should be the captain. I believe he's the better man to captain the team. Doesn't say, let me finish, please.
Yeah, sorry.
I am not saying that if we decide that Royce Delford is the best captain, that I will not support and show my support and my all behind him. It doesn't say that if Amanza Walton Desir is the captain, I wouldn't support her. She wouldn't get my full support. It doesn't say if Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton is the captain for the team, I would not give him my dedication and my energies and work hard and give him our full support. As you said, like yourself, Mr. Hines, if you were the captain for the team, I wouldn't give you the full support and energy. It is about the team and the collective and the big picture. But I say that Mr. Hughes, I believe, is the man for the job, which is my rights.
Right. And we're going to get there as to who's the man for the job.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our constitution says that we have to have a captain. And I think we're going to get there. But I am saying, let us not tie ourselves in knots. Our situation and our condition is much more complex than, you know, picking a leader. I remember when I was a small boy, I was in WPA. And there were people in the village who were PNC. I would say that back in my time, the majority of the village was WPA. And I remember we had my countryman, my neighbor, Malcolm Paris. He was Minister of Education at one time. And every Sunday, he would come in the village and he would go by the barber shop. Mush was the big barber in the village, and he would go there. And people from the village would go and talk to him about their children, talk to him about education. And, you know, they try to get the children in the school and so on. And he would never ask, "Use WPA, I can't help you." He was there as our countryman, a Buxtonian, right? Who in a position to help his villagers. And he knew that a lot of the people, they had sympathies for the WPA. But he never asked them, and people would come out and say, "Well, you know, me is WPA, but Mr. Malcolm never asked me what party I go. I put my story to him, and he helped me." I am telling that story to say that we in the Black community have to get back to what unites us and not what divides us. Not what divides us. I think we are too much focused on the things that divide us. Malcolm Paris, Minister of Education, big man in the government. He came there every Sunday by Mush, and he helped. I can't think of any villager who, when they go there, would walk away and say, "Mr. Paris never helped." And he never asked them, "Use PNC or you are WPA." Years later on, I jokingly asked him about it, and he told me, "I got it right. I got it right." That he had a responsibility to his village, first and foremost, although he was a big minister of government. Darren, I'm saying that we in the Black community have to work on what unites us and not what divides us. And I feel very, very strongly about that. Now, let me ask you about the teacher strike.
Before we move on to this teacher strike, I want to comment on. I think as a country, in addition to looking at what unites us within the African community, I believe when it comes to ethnic and race relations, it is important for us to look at other communities or look out and look in and to see strengths and to see weaknesses. I think that is one of the benefits of a melting pot. That we learn, just like how we learn to cook curry and the other groups don't make fufu and grow and kanki and these things. The same way we must look at certain attitudes whereby we could exchange and make a better Guyana when it comes to ethnic and race relations. That we look and we learn the best qualities of all the races, and none of us are perfect. Like the collective, we must look for the things that are our strengths, and we adopt those. The weaknesses and so forth, the bad attitudes that we may get from other groups and ourselves, whatever we think may not be good things to adopt, we ignore those. But the things that could help us to develop and build, we need to share those expertise amongst ourselves in this melting pot that we call Guyana.
Yes, but I mean, you can't melt something if you don't get something. You have to be something to put in that melting pot.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
you all have to.
Darren, and I want to put this to you because you're a younger man and you're in the political. Look, there was a time when I fought against Burnham in the WPA. I was caustic in my criticisms of Burnham. I believe I was right at that time, and if I were to do it again, I'd probably do the same thing. But nobody's going to get me in 2024 to spend the type of energy that I spent 30 years ago cussing Burnham to do it today. Because my cussing Burnham today will be used to weakening our people. And I'm being frank with you. There's a time and season for everything. And as much as I fought against Burnham, as much as I disagreed with a lot of things that Burnham did, in 2024, nobody is going to get me to spend my time cussing Burnham because it's going to be used against our people and going to be used to beat our people. You understand what I mean? So I'm saying, yes, there are times when we have to be self-critical, but there are other times when we have to temper our self-criticism.
You know, something.
It can be used against our people. Go ahead.
Right, because it helps to facilitate a false narrative, that impedes race relations. You know, sometimes and distrust among our people, because other groups may teach that Burnham was a bad man, then black people kill away, then black people do that, and and these things. Other groups. But when you examined what transpired really and truly, and I was here on the last time, and I was talking the truth, and the folks on the radio had written to the on Mandela, it's HBTV, isn't it? I think that's the thing, and the radio there. But I was talking facts of what happened in 64. I have relatives, 4 relatives of mine died. One of them remembers Lincoln Lewis' uncle, which is my grandmother, the cousin. I had a cousin, Wade, from Yeovil, from Brand, who died. There's a Mackenzie, a McPherson in their Barry Creek. And I said, going into Port recently, the people of Port, and I had a client also recently here from Port, and said that the healing from 64 was happening in Port, and I'm told it was excess of 80 persons that were slaughtered. That's what I'm told. I wasn't able to confirm the numbers, but I intend to, I'm speaking to the people of Port to go to Port and to do a memorial, to build a monument in recognition for their children. They said to me that today they don't know where the bones are. For their husbands, their fathers, their brothers, their cousins, their sons. And when we give that narrative that black is bad and Burnham is bad, you say you're right, but you're saying black is bad, and you're absolutely correct, and it fits into the PPP narrative. Who recall, and it is mentioned on then in Parliament, the Abrahams family from Hatfield Street behind the Big Dam Cathedral, the father was the, and you will notice he was the what he was in the ministry, the permanent secretary for Cheddy Jagan. And it is that, and the story is that he used to give Peter the Gar, and what was the name of the Gar party, if you could remind me?
United Force.
The United Force information, and they removed that man. And we're speaking about Cheddy Jagan now. They removed that man from there, and a few days later, they bombed his house, killed the entire family, except, I believe, his wife and one of the child. It was 7 or 8 children he had. He died, and about 8 or 6 of his children. And when you say of these stories, and these are recorded incidents. These are recorded history when they bombed and killed these people. Little children sleeping because what harm their father did to the PPP and Cheddy Jagan. He decided that he may give some information and of how they're corrupt. Nothing same like today, they're corrupt. Because they were in the government at the time when Cheddy was in government. He decided that he's going to give information to the, of course, they are Portuguese white people, Guyanese white. They're going to give, and United Force was also a white, Portuguese white party. And they say they're going to give them information. And they say that he and his family has no right to live. Has no right to live. And they're going to bomb and they're going to kill them. That is what the PPP did. Cheddy Jagan. Yeah. That's what the PPP did in 64. And you have this woman, I always because this was in my time. The woman who went every single lunchtime to give the PPP a blessings at Freedom House. You know, your little language, colorful language, and explicits and so on. What was it? And what was her name? Remind me of her name. The one from Buxton that they shot and killed in front of Freedom House in the early 2000s.
Oh yes. Anyhow, I can't remember her name, but yes.
The viewers will remember her name.
So somebody
when she went to do her traditional.
Is it Monica Reese? Not Monica Reese. Is it Monica Reese? Anyhow, somebody gonna remember.
No, Monica Reese is the first woman that they killed when people came into government, and they dumped her body in
right. Somebody gonna remember the Donna.
You not stand with Monica Reese's family, and you see
the lady that you're talking about. Her first name is Donna. I'm trying to remember the last name.
Donna McKenna.
Donna McKenna. Yes.
That was the name.
Yes.
And they did that to Monica Reese, and we allow it. And back then, if we had put our foot down, and before I came on this program, there's a saying that they went to Joe, I can't remember the exact saying, but they went to Joe's house and they did that, and I said nothing. They went to Paul and they did that, and I said nothing. They went to Peter and they did that, and said, they're at my house. They're at me now. Because I failed to say that. And it started with Monica Reese. Probably before then, I mean, when they came back in 92, of course, they did the slaughtering. The PPP did the slaughtering. And if you want to say genocide and ethnic cleansing in 64. When people had to sleep under the bed. No justice today for that period. No justice. And they come and tell us they mean well.
Darren, you have been quite outspoken in terms of your views. I know you're a PNC member, but you have been quite outspoken, quite self-critical of us, the older leadership. And I want to pointedly ask you, what do you think, as you look at the leadership of my generation, which are the ones that are in charge or the leadership of the parties, what would you say as a young person, what would you say is our greatest shortcoming, or our greatest, our 1, 2, 3 greatest shortcomings?
Impediment. If you go to the younger folks and you ask them what it is the inability or the unwillingness to give young people a chance. I think a lot of that is the criticism, and that is what I get from the folks. And
explain that, because I hear that too, and I sometimes don't know what it means. And let me preface my question before you answer. I got into politics, active politics, at age 15. I didn't ask anybody, can I come in? All right? I remember getting into politics in Buxton and sitting down in the same room with A.U.C. Guyana, who was like a god. He wasn't just a politician, he was a god to us. And I remember sitting down in rooms with him. And there was nothing there that I felt as a 14, 15-year-old that somebody was trying to keep me out. In fact, as a young man, I remember going to Kwame Apat and saying, Kwame, brother UC, put me on this committee to organize 1st of August celebration in 1974. I wasn't even 15 yet. And I don't know if I can do this thing. And Kwame tell me, well, if brother UC asked you to be on it, it means that he sees some potential in you. Try your best. And that was the beginning. So I'm trying to understand the impediment to young people getting involved. I mean, Walter Rodney was 38 years old when he was killed. Burnham was, in 1953, was 30 years old and he became a government minister. Sidney King was 28. Explain to me what you mean by our generation keeping out young people.
King and UC Guyana is the one and same person?
Yes, yes.
Okay. As you said, one is young people want to believe. Well, that's one. Once they put in the effort,
yes,
it must be recognized.
Yes.
You must create an enabling environment.
Okay, good.
Whereby ideas could be shared, where we could be critical and we could accept. Not if you get one young people that yes man, or he is a favorite of a particular person. My view is that we must have some sort, when we say we have young people backing us, we must have some level of transparency. Where in order to attract others, if I believe I put in the work, I must see the results. I must not be putting my life at risk. I must not, and especially with a vindictive and wicked government like PPP, I must not take in resources, whether it's time, energy, go in the fields and plow and work hard and plow and do all of the hard work. And when it's time to come at the table, you bring a man who did nothing because he's somebody, God's son, you get a nenen, is your nenen, and you put them down there. You understand?
Yeah, I get you. I'm with you.
And once you are productive and you're working, as you said, the enemy is always looking for an opportunity. Like in the Bible, you recalled Jesus, you biblical man, you're well read. When Satan said, look, if you bow down to me, I give you all of this. And we know who's our Satan today. And so once you're productive and you're inspiring, the enemy will look at you and they will come and they offer you.
All right, so
let me finish that. Let me finish.
No, I'm trying to bring you back on track to the question.
No, I will get back to the question.
Right.
I must send my message.
All right.
And not all of our young people can hold the faith. Some of our people are suffering. You flash a little thing in front of them, they run and they're gone. So as I said to you for the question in relation to young people and having them, we must create an enabling environment, one that is transparent, one that is fair. Right. I want to go forward, but I would stop here.
Yes. So that's for you is the biggest shortcoming. There may be other shortcomings of my generation of leaders, but that one is, you're saying, is a very important one.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have sympathy for that view. I have sympathy for that view because, like I said just now, as a little teenager, barely out of primary school, I found the
You were there based on potential.
environment. Huh?
You said you were there based upon potential.
Right, and the environment was enabling. I felt welcome. I was given opportunity to lead, even at that tender age. You see, and I get the point you are making.
And let me say this. And sometimes as hit the nail on the head, you said that earlier, the tearing of each other. We have something in the PNC that we need to take out. We like to use this term called Johnny come lately. I done the party for 50 years, but you're in the party for 50 days, but you are miserable and you chase more people. And you have done more wrong than you have done good for the party, but because you're there more 50, a young educated person come, a beautiful young lady come, and some young man, they could make a good contribution. They have opinions, they have views, but because you're there for 50 years, it could cost them down, and you could behave in a dignified manner, and that poor person who is quiet and calm but could do more for the party than you, you're going to chase them. You're going to chase them because of that. That we need, as my cousin, I like to say Vincent Alexander, said to me, and he continues every time we speak, he said this one thing to me, Darren. He said, Darren, in 2007, I wrote a letter, and you must go and look for it. He hasn't given it to me. He always encouraged me to go and do the research myself. I wrote a letter saying that there need to be a cultural shift, a cultural change, the ethos. In particular, the PNC need to change.
Darren Wade here tonight speaking his mind. And as Darren has raised the question of young people's role in our politics, our party, my party, the Working People's Alliance, the WPA, is on a recruitment drive right now. I want young people. I want young people. I want, if there are young people on this live, I want everybody. Let me just start that. I don't care whether you're 80, 90, 20, 15. I want you to work with us, all right? But especially the young people, come into the WPA, all right? I always say, I am not interested in splitting up the opposition, all right? I can deal, if you're PNC, I can deal with you. If you're AFC, I can deal with you. But if you feel uncomfortable there and you feel you can be comfortable with us, come in. Because as I say, at the end of the day, all this thing going one place. I hope so. I hope all our energies and votes go in one place. So I'm appealing to you on this live and those who will be looking at this program. We are recruiting. We want members, and especially young people. Please contact us, and we will be able. And there's so many ways in which one can contribute to a political party. You don't have to be out there with a placard in your hand. There are lots of work can be done. Young people today, I find, are so smart, 100 times smarter than my generation. You put that phone in your hand, and you all can do magic with a phone. I'm amazed at the innate intelligence of our young people. So, young people, please, you all can inbox me. Contact Brother Kedaki's numbers are up there. I will put up a number here before the end of the show. Please contact me, because we've got to build the new generation of leaders. And I am prepared to work with young people and to give you all the space that you need to grow. Because when I was a little boy teenager in short pants, I was given the space. I was given the space to grow. And I hear Darren's point, and I think it's a point that my generation of leaders should take into consideration very, very seriously. Darren, you were part of the legal team for the teachers. And We know what happened in the
Well,
court.
there was no legal team for the teachers. Darren was the lawyer for the teachers.
All right. Oh, yes, because Roysdale was the lawyer for the TUC. You
Yes,
were
who
the
joined,
lawyer for the GTU.
who joined, who make an application. And
Correct is right. Correct is right. And there were some serious developments as a result of your advocacy in courts. I would say the teachers won a tremendous victory in the courts. But at the end of the day, the teachers went back to work without getting what they were asking for. Your thoughts on what happened, what could have happened?
Well, the teachers, the currently in conciliation, which is the process set out by the agreement and so forth. So they're in conciliation. They have gotten what they have been asking for years. So to say necessarily that the teachers went back without getting anything is not true. It's not necessarily true, because the process of conciliation, then arbitration. So as it is now, based upon my understanding, by the teachers, the conciliation is what they went for. You follow?
Yes, I got you. I got you.
So that process, and if it doesn't work out well, then arbitration. If not, then probably head back to court. But the process, the matter was being appealed, and before the appeal court is an application for stay. Matter of fact, I am currently working on that right now. Probably spend most of the night when I come off of here to work on that matter.
Thank you very much for that answer. Darren, I was talking. I have a question for you. The question, well, not I have a question. One of the viewers has a question for you on the screen. And Jesus Christ, that's where they say you mustn't talk people name. I was talking his by uncle name just now. Quezon is asking you a question. And I was saying, remember I was talking a story about Minister Paris?
Yes.
Is your uncle, your uncle, and that's why you mustn't talk people name. But look, I was talking good things.
I know I'm aware of the Paris family.
Yes.
I have my uncle. He died in 1972 or 73 at Chimichumari. That's up in Region 8, not far from Madia. He has but when he died, he had a child with a relative of theirs in Oak Town, who is now deceased, Lynn Griffith. So I think I spoke to the same minister's son who is aware of Lynn and so on and the family from Oak Town. So I have a little relation with them.
This is his nephew.
The Paris family.
Yes. He's asking you a question.
Okay.
They say you said Mr. Hughes is the best person for the job. Can you please explain why you think so?
Because I think one of the main things is that he's competent. He has excelled in his profession. I think they call him an aristocrat. As it even is that black people must not have nice things. If you are to blame that he comes from a father who was an attorney at law, his mother who also was an administrator, and so forth. But despite all of that, he has shown that he has the common touch. And even the PPP has recognized this threat, because since he won even before winning the leadership of the FC, quite frankly, it appears as though today in Guyana, only Nigeria Hughes is the only politician we have. Because everything in the news, even Jagdio today, is attacking him. Mr. Hughes has shown, as I mentioned, that he's for the people. He has represented the people. The matters with the Amerindian, the various Amerindian communities that he fought the government and won. Even the Inter-American Human Rights Commission has also said the government is breaching the Amerindian human rights, this PPP government. Mr. Hughes was there representing the Amerindian, the African community. Of course, we have used him. And I'm speaking to Mr. Paris. The PNC has used and reused Mr. Hughes. Currently before the court, we have matters there with Comrade Lawrence. We have matters with Comrade Joseph and the GCOM staff. And Mr. Hughes is there with his service, pro bono. As I mentioned before, we were recently in Switzerland for the decade, the African decade. that was brought in by the Human Rights Commission of United Nations. He was there advocating and exposing the PPP. He was there. And you see, when your United Nations speak with the evidence, the Human Rights Commission, Mr. Hughes was there twice, I was there once, with money from our own pocket. And when United Nations invited the PPP in recently, was it by magic? The work and the submission by Mr. Hughes and Padaji that I'm a part of, it's not by magic the PPP was called into United Nations. He was tried and tested. He has shown that he's someone that we can trust. When Mr. Hughes did the analysis, and we have to give him that, using his resource and the analysis that shows the amount of license, they give gold license to 10 persons, they give to 1 black person of the other groups. They give that was gold license, the oil blocks. It was Mr. Hughes who did all of that analysis. And that is why I said earlier. That's why I said earlier, if we will be like Peter, who was with Christ all the time and have seen the works that he have done, and then he said, I don't know him. I said that earlier. And I do hope and trust that I respond to Mr. Paris. And I have said also that despite I believe he's the man for the job, it doesn't mean if Roy Zilford is the presidential candidate, if you, Mr. Dr. Hines, or even Mr. Paris is the presidential candidate, that I would not give my energies. I'm not saying that those other folks are not qualified. And as you walk the streets of Guyana, the young people want Nigel Hughes. The people want Nigel to be the leader. And one thing that we need to appreciate too as well, especially in the PNC, and I've always said that, I'm entitled to my opinion, is that the persons that vote at Congress is not the PNC supporters.
You mean not the sum total of PNC supporters?
Sum total of the PNC supporters. The larger block is out of the party. And I believe, you know, and a lot of personal people, it's no secret that the African support, the PPP support, the PNC support come from the black community. And you know, if you put a monkey or a crapo at the cup, they go vote. The PPP supporter. They not care what they do. They go vote. And it's not the same. The PPP, the PNC doesn't enjoy that. And Amanda say, the persons who are, you know, I don't want to, let me don't say it. Let me leave it alone. I don't want to be accused. But the PNC, the little push, the necessity, the little push to get the nurses, the teachers, the lawyers, the doctors on board as it is now. Nigel Hughes give that push.
So
if he's a prime ministerial candidate, if he can give the push from the back there, or a person who wants him up, he must be up front to give that extra energy. Because at the end of the day, the PNC alone cannot win no elections. Let the record reflect that Darren Wade said that. They can't win no elections. Because, as I said, we need the extra push. Because we need everyone in society to be on board. Because our supporters, they are like that. And sadly, they're like that. You know, someone said it is the Messiah. And we have to be reality. The Messiah syndrome, whatever you call it. They want this reason. And that's the thing we need to probably to work on. And it's going to take time to change that. But to get the people to come out and vote, we need a candidate, everybody, and I believe he's there. Not saying others cannot, but I'm saying that he is the man that I see best fits the profile. If he is the presidential candidate, sometimes we could argue that FC must have no ministerial seat. And even if they get a minister at all, they may have a junior minister, if at all. Because it, of course, the party PNC is going to put on some argument. But the collective and the paramount consideration, the paramount consideration must be to see the back of the PPP. The paramount consideration mustn't be the PNC. The paramount consideration mustn't be the WPA. The paramount consideration must see the PPP out of government. That is what is important. Getting the PPP out of government.
All right. So you've stated your preference for Mr. Hughes. And you said you've been hearing from people as you've been moving around. And, in the absence of polls, we have to listen sometimes to what people tell us. Is Mr. Hughes?
You on the ground in Guyana, Dr. Hines. You on the ground in Guyana. Since Hughes become the leader for the AFC, the air has changed in Guyana.
Yeah.
As I said before, the attacks and the political discussion and discourse has changed.
Yeah.
And everything comes out of the PPP, and the PPP have recognized, and they have launched at one point newsroom, and all this when PNC was having his Congress, He had newsroom attacking, he had NCN attacking, Chronicle, Jack, your Facebook page, go and see everybody at one time went at him. And we will continue to see that why he got their threatened.
Yeah.
He made up, I thought, and go ahead, sorry.
No, I was asking, because like I said, in the absence of poll, one has to go by, what our people are saying. And you said they're talking about Mr. Hughes. Is Mr. Hughes the only person that you are hearing people on the ground talking about? Because I want you to be fair to everybody. Yeah.
Being fair, yes, that's the reality check.
What about Mr. Norton? People are not talking about him as a
I personally, for years, have the greatest admiration for Mr. Norton. I felt that when APNU in 20, you all, Mr. Hines, went into the opposition in majority in 2011, Mr. Norton should be there. I believe so. I believe in 2015 when the APNU AFC joined, I believe Mr. Norton should have been in government. He's a person who I admire. And I believe that Mr. Norton is better than Irfan 1 billion times. I believe Mr. Norton could do a better job than Mr. Irfan Ali so much time. However, as it is now, because of the short time, and if you look at social media, as someone identified to me recently, some of the main persons who have social media personality in Guyana and so forth, and you see the comments that are coming about our persons. And it could happen, because I had the views of Granger, and it happened for Granger. If we are going to use Mr. Norton as a presidential candidate, we have to accept him now. I am prepared to work to support Mr. Norton tomorrow. But we will have to spend a lot of effort, energy, and financing. Because, as you mentioned too as well, we also have created so much leaks. Mr. Norton has endured so many leaks. And we will have to do a lot of PR and to say accept him as he is now. Because of some of our own doing. I may have been guilty of some too. But because of our own doing, we will have to invest in a lot of PR. A lot of our people will have to be convinced and pushed as we need to push over. That's just my view at the point. I think it's possible. I had said, at first time I got a question whether Granger could have done a little push, and it happened with him. I think Mr. Norton has the party base intact. I saw at Congress, someone said to me they believe it's the biggest Congress they ever see. Excellent mobilizing of the party comrades, the groups. But at the end of the day, most of the party persons, as he has also said, a grassroots party base, and he's a grassroots man, and that is good. But in order to, and the base will always vote for you. But in order to get the extra, that's why I believe Nigel get the advantage, because he he appeals. There's appeal. I'm not saying others doesn't have the appeal, but he has an advantage, man. You know, we had great batsmen, but when you see Brian Lara, you see the star. And that is the reality.
Mr. Darren Wade here tonight, making his views very clear. And I know some of you on the live here are unhappy with his position, but I would urge that we get used to this. I think it's an exciting time to be on our side of the political divide. What it says is that we have riches on our side, you know, that we have choices, we have riches on our side. And I don't think we should be slamming the young man because he doesn't express a view that some of us, maybe most of us, have. I think it's a reflection, one, of the riches that we have on our side. That's one. Two, it's a reflection of the maturity of some of our young people who are prepared to be in a party, but to look outside of the party in the interest of the collective.
But you see,
I don't think it's a negative thing. Yes, go ahead.
When we say about the party, Mr. Hughes may not be a PNC person, but he has served the party. He served the PNC.
Yes, we heard that. We heard that.
He may not carry a PNC card, but he served the PNC and he's serving the PNC.
Yeah.
So how do we define as a PNC? Who is a PNC? Does having a party card defines, I'm looking for my card, defines a PNC member? Do I need to have a party card to define a PNC? Is it, what do we want? Form or substance? Is what we want? Form or substance? What do we prefer? Substance, I will think the answer will be. And Mr. Using substances with a PNC. He is substantive because of the work he has done for the party.
Yeah. Marlon is saying here that
I
all
can't
these
call
entities,
him saying no when our chief whip. Somebody talk about the cleans, we want to get to that. When the chief whip was arrested, I went down there at his house the night, and you Guyanese were there with me, live on Facebook. When we had court for the first time, you hear me? On the bridge, there's a picture with me. We had Zoom court on the bridge. We received the court order. Of course, the government disrespected the judge, disrespected the order, and do the illegality that they carried out. That was done. They arrested Christopher Jones. I am told, and I could be corrected, you know, Mr. Norton reached out to Mr. Hughes that our chief whip, our party man, Christopher Jones, very popular guy, is arrested. Mr. Hughes was at the police station before me in the morning. When all of our people are arrested and some Mr. Hughes turning up to the PNC and turning up all over to be there and to represent us and to represent PNC communities. When, as I mentioned before, when he went to the United Nations and he submit his research, take documents for our people who the PNC is asking to vote for them, you know. The people the PNC is asking to vote for them. These are the people who the PNC said that they support base. But Mr. Hughes has represented and given a service to them. The same folks that the PNC are asking to vote for them. That is what I'm talking about. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, is Comrade Nigel Hughes in the PNC because of what he has done and his contribution to the party. Because he doesn't carry a card, and I must put this on record. The young man did an excellent job, I believe, in mobilizing, I must say. Particularly mobilizing. That's what I'm going to speak, because that's what I saw. And that's what I observed. Sherwin Benjamin. Sherwin Benjamin did the work for the Congress. Sherwin Benjamin left and went to the AFC. I don't know if he tendered resignation when he came back to the PNC or he carried both cards. But there is precedence. And we trusted Sherwin Benjamin with the most important aspect of the PNC constitution, the right to vote within the party and select leadership. And if Sherwin Benjamin of the AFC, we could accept him, why can't we not accept Mr. Nigel Hughes? Sherwin was the administrator. AFC Sherwin Benjamin was the administrator for our Congress. Why can't we not accepting the AFC youth leader or former youth leader is now works at Congress Place? She has an office there at Congress Place. Why can't we not accept Mr. Hughes? There is precedence. There is precedence.
All right. I think we have gone over our time, Darren. It was wonderful of you to come on tonight, and I will certainly have you back because I know there are other things you want to talk about. But I think the audience tonight has heard you. There are mixed responses, but like I said to my audience here tonight, you all have to get used to this. There's more of this. And as I said, our politics are a bit more complex than we sometimes make it out to be. And we can work this thing through. We're going to work it through. Let not your hearts be troubled, right? We're going to work it through. So you all don't crucify Darren. He's just a young man expressing his frank view. And I like that. I like that. I don't necessarily have to agree with him, but he has expressed his views. And I think that what he has said here tonight should help us to reflect. I've put the comment by Sister Leslyn on the screen because I think sometimes we political people at the top don't take the time to recognize that people are at the bottom. When you're at the bottom, you can only see up. When you're at the top, you don't necessarily look down. And we can be missing a lot. I think we are going to work this out, right? So don't, as I've been saying on this program, stop the cussing and licking down. No, it's not the time for that. When I made the comment about Burnham earlier, I was sending a very subtle message. When I saying nobody can get me now to be cussing Burnham because it's counterproductive to Black people to be doing that now. And my primary interest, not my only interest, my primary interest is to defend, protect, and advance Black people. And it means that I am not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything that gets in the way of that. And I'm not going to let myself be used by our enemies, because they're our enemies, to be used. So I go cussing Burnham out about something that happened 40, 50 years ago, for it to be used now to beat up Black people. All right? And so I want you all to be very clear about what I'm saying. All right? What my politics of the past remain my politics of the past, and I would never denounce my politics of the past. But I'm saying the politics of the present requires us to think through what is happening now. And I would not offer myself up to be used to beat up Black people. I'm very clear about that. Darren, thank you very much for coming on. And I shall be inviting you to come back again soon. Thank you much. And thank you all again for staying with us. As I said, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening as I walk the streets. I'm listening. People are talking to me. And I'm getting a sense of what people are thinking. And I must say that our thinking at the top is not always in sync with the people at the bottom. We must always bear that in mind. We're going to work this thing through together. And as I said, what is important for us to assemble a team? Assemble a team. The captain gonna come. The captain gonna come. But let's assemble the best team that we can assemble. that we can assemble. Tomorrow night, we're going to be back. We're going to be back to continue this conversation because we're not running from it. We're not running from this conversation. We're going to face it head on and we're going to work our way through it. We have the capacity to do so. We have the intellectual capacity to do so. We have the political capacity to do so. And with God's will, God willing us, and the ancestors in our ears all the time, we shall overcome.